Today we're launching Claude Fable 5, the most capable model we've ever released to the public. Fable 5 is a Mythos class model with safeguards that make it ready for general use. We didn't broadly release our previous model with this level of capability because when we finished training and testing it, we saw that the model, Claude Mythos Preview, was finding thousands of cybersecurity vulnerabilities. A model that can find flaws like that can also be used to exploit them.
On May 28 of 2026, Anthropic released a new AI model called Claude Opus 4.8. The next day, a security researcher named Taylor Hornby sat down and pointed at Zcash. By 6 p.m. that evening, roughly one working day, he had found a bug that had been sitting undetected inside Zcash code for 4 straight years. He wrote a working exploit, he tested it in a local environment, and it worked. Unlimited counterfeit Zcash. Completely indistinguishable from real coins, with no on-chain fingerprint. He did not run it on a mainnet. He called it Zoko Wilcox, the Zcash founder, CEO, and disclosed it privately. 3 days later, the Zcash ecosystem shipped an emergency hard fork, only the second security-driven upgrade in the network's history. The market did not react well. Zcash dropped 48% in 48 hours, erasing roughly $4 billion in market cap. And then came the part that nobody could answer, because Orchard is a privacy pool, meaning transactions are shielded by design. There is no way to cryptographically prove whether someone had already found and exploited this bug in previous years. The privacy features that make Zcash valuable are the exact same features that makes exploitation undetectable. Shielded Labs, who hired Hornby for the audit, said exploitation was unlikely. That is a reasonable position, but it's not a proof. To understand why this matters beyond Zcash, you need to understand what kind of bug this was. This was not a poorly written smart contract. It was not a phishing attack or a compromised private key. Those things happen all the time in crypto, and frankly, they are usually the result of someone being careless. But this was a soundness bug buried inside a zero-knowledge proof circuit, specifically inside something called the ECC chip mode function in the Halo 2 gadgets crate. So all these technical terms means that is the mathematical heart of the Orchard pool, the part that's supposed to verify the transactions are valid without revealing any information about them. The bug broke a specific check. It was supposed to validate transactions inputs. It was not actually enforcing the rules it appeared to enforce. An attacker who knew about it could feed the circuit fake numbers, and the network would still accept the proof as valid. The people who wrote this code are not junior developers, okay? Zcash has a team of world-class cryptographers who have spent years on this protocol. This code has survived multiple independent audits. It survived 4 years of scrutiny from someone of the most technically capable people in the industry. And it took a researcher with a frontier AI model like Claude to in one specific day, find it. The gap between what human review caught and what AI caught is actual story here. It is worth being clear about something. Critical bugs in crypto code are not new, okay? In 2010, someone exploited an integer overflow bug in Bitcoin's code and generated 184 billion Bitcoin off thin air. The 21 million supply cap gone. The entire monetary foundation of Bitcoin. It was broken in a single transaction. Satoshi Nakamoto himself published a fix within 5 hours, and the community rolled it back to the chain. So the community turned back the clock in order to fix the entire transactions in that specific point. In 2018, a different Bitcoin bug was discovered, named CVE 2018 17144, that would have allowed miners to inflate the supply. This one was caught before it was exploited, but it had been sitting in the codebase for 2 straight years. The point is not that Bitcoin or Zcash are uniquely broken. The point is that even the most carefully reviewed, most security-focused codebases in the industry have carried critical vulnerabilities for years without anyone finding them. The assumption that has always held this together is that finding these bugs is genuinely hard. It requires deep expertise, specialized knowledge, and a lot of time. That assumption is what makes open source security auditing feel adequate. Hundreds of eyes on the code, smart people reviewing it. Eventually someone finds the problem, right? Right? What the Zcash incident shows is that this assumption is no longer holds the same way it did before. Hornby, the researcher, did not spend weeks on this. He built a custom AI auditing framework, pointed Claude Opus 4.8 at the orchard circuit with instructions to search for soundness and zero-knowledge security issues, and had a working exploit by the end of the same afternoon. The amount of time it takes to find a critical bug just dropped by an order of magnitude. That changes the math of every open source code base in crypto. And Claude Opus 4.8 is not even close to the most capable model Anthropic has built. In April 2026, Anthropic announced Project Glasswing, a coalition that includes Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, JP Morgan Chase, and around other 40 organizations. The stated purpose is to find and patch software vulnerabilities in critical infrastructure before adversaries can exploit them. At the center of Project Glasswing is a model called Claude Mythos Preview, and Anthropic says it has already identified thousands of high-severity zero-day vulnerabilities, previously unknown flaws, in every major operating system and every major web browser, a key for all locks. They are not releasing to the public. Newton Chang, Frontier Red Team cyber lead at Anthropic, said it directly. We do not plan to make Claude Mythos Preview generally available due to its cybersecurity capabilities. The reason that sentence matters is not that Anthropic has a dangerous model, is what comes after it. The same Anthropic statement acknowledged that given the rate of AI progress, it will not be long before such capabilities proliferate, potentially beyond actors who are committed to responsible use. In other words, Anthropic built this, realized it, what it was, and decided to not release it. They are under no illusion that they will be the only ones to build something like this. The question is, for every crypto protocol is straightforward. When a model with Mythos level capabilities ends up in the hands of someone without Hornby's, the researcher, ethics, and it will happen, how fast can you patch? So we are discovering here is a brand new race. Open source has always been crypto security argument. The code is public. Anyone can review it. The community acts as a distributed audit system. Their argument was never perfect, but it was reasonable enough. What it assumes was rough parity between the people writing and reviewing the code, and the people trying to break it. Both sides were working with the same tools, human brains, documentation, time. That parity is gone now. The Zcash bug survived for 4 years of expert review and fell in one afternoon to an AI auditing agent. The implication is not that Zcash is uniquely negligent. The implication is that every protocol carrying the same assumption that sustained human review is sufficient is in the same position. The race that is now happening in crypto security is not a race between projects. It is a race between the protocols that adopt AI-assisted auditing and the actors who eventually have access to models that can find what Hornby found without calling anyone afterwards. Bitcoin is the obvious example of how this pressure lands. Bitcoin development process is famous conservative. Taproot took years. The quantum resistant conversation has been ongoing for even longer. That caution has historically been a feature. This is why Bitcoin has maintained the security record, and it has, despite being the single most valuable target in crypto history, being slow in updates. But the timeline that conservatism was built for assumed that critical bugs are found slowly. If they are now, they are found quickly. The response need to be faster too, not reckless, but faster. The protocols that will hold up are the ones that treat AI-assisted auditing the way Taylor Hornby treated, as an offensive tool that defenders need to use before attackers do. The ones that don't care about carrying a 4-year window, they don't know absolutely nothing about the problem that lies ahead. The Zcash story ended well. Hornby disclosed it responsibly. The patch shipped in 3 days. There is no confirmed evidence of exploitation, but the version of this story where a different researcher finds the same bug and makes a different call, that version ends without a patch, without a disclosure, and without a happy ending for sure, and without anyone knowing until the supply numbers stop making sense. That version is coming, I can tell you. The only question is, which protocol find it first? So guys, if you liked the video, subscribe to our newsletter, burp.com/for newsletter for AI, blockchain, fintechs, money, and macro coverage that doesn't waste your time.